Same story, different game. The Chicago Bulls disappoint again. Of course, this is after the Chicago Bulls held a 15-point lead in the third quarter, only to crumple and lose the game in crunch time. Something that we have been familiar with the Chicago Bulls this season. Hello, my name is Isaias Jackson Jr. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Bulls Digest. We got to get into all the news and notes in the Chicago Bulls Orlando Magic game. Chicago Bulls suffering the loss against the Orlando Magic 125-120. And what has just been, I'm just so tired of this. Why do they keep doing this, man? Why do they keep doing this? This is getting out of hand. Look, out of the 20 games that we've seen from the Chicago Bulls this season, 14, 15 of them have been close games, some that we've seen come down to the very wire. They can't close out. They can't close out these games. Before I get all the way in depth into the Chicago Bulls Orlando Magic game, 67.5% of you guys are not subscribed. 32.5% of you guys are. We appreciate you guys on both sides of the field. We're in this together. Look, we are in this together. We have to suffer. We have to suffer together because this has just been out of control. We talk about how much fun the first 7 to 8 games of the Chicago Bulls season were. Now, oh man. Now, what, it hasn't been 82 games yet? You know, it's like, can we just fast forward to the end of the season already just to see where the Chicago Bulls will wound out? But however, we're going to ride it out. We're going to have a whole lot of fun as well. And if you want to join us in also tracking the Chicago Bulls, of course, giving our commentary and having a whole lot of fun and also hearing what you have to say as well, because we love hearing your comments as well. Hit that subscribe button, like, and share. And thank you guys so much for tuning into Bulls Digest. Desmond Bane's big fourth quarter helps the Orlando Magic beat the struggling Bulls 125-120. Chicago Bulls have lost 4 straight. Something's got to be done. Something's got to be done here. Now, okay, in the Chicago Bulls defense, it's still injury prone, still dealing with their just a great deal of injuries. Of course, Isaac Okoro, Dallin Terry, Noa Essengue. Unfortunately, Kevin Huerter got injured in the first 6 minutes of the game. He didn't come back. So, of course, we have to deal with that as well. Kobe White, of course, has been in and out. Even though Nikola Vucevic has played in this game, he's also in and out as well. He also collided knees with Goga in the game. That scared the living daylights out of me. I was like, well, I guess that's it. You know, I guess that's pretty much it for our center here. However, fortunately, Nikola Vucevic was able to hold on and stay in the game as well. However, Chicago Bulls still dealing with their fair share of injuries, of course, and also Patrick Williams was in and out as well. We're still seeing Patrick Williams in this game. Not really the greatest game for Patrick Williams. Still trying to stay aggressive, but not a whole lot going for him as well. And that was really the biggest problem there. We're gonna get into Patrick Williams in a little bit. We're gonna touch on Patrick Williams in a little bit. But Desmond Bane scored 18 of his 37 points in the fourth quarter, helping the Orlando Magic beat the Chicago Bulls 125-120 tonight. Bane made the go-ahead three-pointer with 3:23 left, sparking an 8-0 run for the Magic. He also capped a decisive sequence with the foul shot that made it 117-111 with 2:11 to go. Now let's stop right there. I'm glad they brought this up. If this is the 3-pointer that we're talking about here, that kicked off, not only kicked off, but kind of let you already know from the get-go that this game was lost. There's no effort being shown here from the Chicago Bulls. It was the exact possession. Desmond Bane shoots a 3, misses. I believe it was Jalen Suggs that got the rebound. Passes it to a wide open Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane misses the shot. The rebound is picked up by the Orlando Magic again. Is passed off to a wide open Desmond Bane once again. He knocks down the 3-point shot. That had to be the most frustrating thing. That's the last thing you want to see down the stretch, at least in the second half of the game, when you know pretty much at this point in time. Now, granted, every possession matters, but once you get into the second half and once you're getting into crunch time, that shouldn't happen. That's the last thing that needs to happen in that instance. And Nikola Vucevic still led the game, led the not only the Chicago Bulls, but of course led the both teams in rebounding with 11, and he still had a solid game, at least on the offensive side. Defensively, nobody had a good game, and even a huge shout out to Montes Buzelis, who had a block. But still, like, there was Montes Buzelis, I thought, put in the most effort defensively for the Chicago Bulls. Everybody else, oh my goodness, it was so miserable to watch the Chicago Bulls play defense tonight here. Bane was 12 for 17 from the field. He also had 6 rebounds and 5 assists as well. Franz Wagner scored 25 points for Orlando, and Anthony Black had 22 points and 9 rebounds. The Magic won for the 6th time in 7 games, while as we talked about, the Chicago Bulls are on a 4-game losing streak. Man, Desmond Bane and Anthony Black alike. I mean, I don't know how polite they were. You know, I don't know how polite they were with this Chicago Bulls defense. Excuse me, sir. You know, like, if you could just get out of my way, please. I'd really appreciate it. It was just like every time Anthony Black got past, whether it was Montes Buzelis, he was looking into the eyes of, Josh Giddey, Javon Carter, Patrick Williams, because we've seen it all. Oh, you've seen Anthony Black just blow by and just use that wingspan to just extend his arm out. He got to the rim too easily. He finished at the rim too easily. And of course, he just was exuding in confidence and shooting the ball as well. So there was nothing stopping Anthony Black. There was nothing stopping Desmond Bane. And early in the game, there was nothing stopping Franz Wagner either. He actually was a terror as well and finished the game with 25 points, 11 for 18 from the field. Absolutely miserable, man. Absolutely miserable for the Chicago Bulls. But as we're talking, let's get into the Chicago Bulls and what they've done. Josh Giddey had 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists for the Chicago Bulls in his 4th consecutive loss. Montes Buzelis had 21 points. Nikola Vucevic had 20 and 11. Of course, just moving on as well, the Bulls led by as many as 15 points in the 3rd quarter, holding the Orlando Magic without a field goal for the first 5 minutes of the period. And I don't mean to scream and be over-exaggerative in that instance, but when you read stuff like this, you know, those are times you're supposed to go on those emphatic runs. You know, those are times where you're just supposed to be automatically shut down. You're supposed to pull away in this game. And not once did you think, no matter how high, no matter how huge the lead got for the Chicago Bulls, no matter what was done, you still didn't have 100% confidence. You still didn't have 100% faith that the Chicago Bulls are walking out of here with this win. At all. At all. It didn't matter what was going on in the game. And, of course, the defense showed it. As soon as the ball rung around the offense for the Orlando Magic, the Chicago Bulls just stopped playing defense after a while. Like, yes, you've seen Ayo Dosunmu got out there at the perimeter. But after that, once you start seeing the Orlando Magic kind of shy away from the three-point shot, and started driving to the basket, Chicago Bulls couldn't do anything, or let me say, wouldn't do anything. And look, a huge shout out to Montes Buzelis, because like I said, at least we saw some great defensive effort from him in Montes Buzelis, and in Julian Phillips too. Julian Phillips just got called for a couple of those fouls as well. But of course, just looking at the Chicago Bulls and, of course, the extended work that was done on the defensive side as well. Montes Buzelis, 3 blocks. Josh Giddey with 1 as well. But Montes Buzelis showed out in a big way. Like I said, isn't scared. I said that in the last video. Isn't scared at all to shy away from rim protection and sticking his hand out there and being a force, you know, at the rim. He's going to make sure you earn those baskets when need be. So you got to give love to Montes Buzelis there. And even on the offensive rebounding side, I thought it was improved, you know, from what we saw so far. And Nikola Vucevic having 4 offensive rebounds. But then let's look at the flip side. You know, let's look at the Orlando Magic, of course, and the work that they've done on the offensive rebounding side. Because when you look at the Chicago Bulls, of course, you have Nikola Vucevic with 4, Montes Buzelis with 2, Josh Giddey with 1. And I'm talking about, this is just the starting lineup. You look at the Orlando Magic, Franz Wagner had 1, Wendell Carter had 3, Desmond Bane had 2, Jalen Suggs had 2. That gets irritating. Those are second chance points. Those are extra chances in your possessions, and they are killing the Chicago Bulls in them. Not just the Orlando Magic. Every team is doing it. And it gets annoying. I actually took a picture of the graphic that was put on display for the in the game. In the Chicago Bulls defense this season, points allowed, they're ranked 27th in the NBA with 123 points. Offensive rebounding, 12.6, 27th in the NBA. Second, and this is allowed, for the Chicago Bulls defense. Second chance points, 17.4, 29th in the NBA. Points in the paint, 55 points in the paint, 29th in the NBA. It is insanely telling, and it was definitely telling in this game when you saw the Chicago Bulls just completely shut down. Just completely shut down. And I'm talking about on the defensive side. Nothing going on for them at all. No effort whatsoever. You're seeing the offensive rebounding just become a gut punch to the Chicago Bulls after every missed attempt. And then, of course, it's, oh, man, I didn't even bring up the turnover. We're 10 minutes in. I didn't even talk about turnovers. Like, the turnovers were just... Everybody had butterfingers. Montes Buzelis, Nikola Vucevic, Josh Giddey, Patrick Williams. Everybody had butterfingers. Nobody was able to maintain their handles. Nobody was able to really get a great grip on the basketball. And what I mean by that is their passes were just downright just atrocious. Either too early or nobody was there at all, Nikola Vucevic. Passing the ball to, I believe it was Trey Jones. He was either too late to come up, or Patrick Williams just wasn't paying attention, and just jogged to the paint without seeing Nikola Vucevic and not moving when the ball was passed to him. But that was just downright atrocious. The Chicago Bulls, in more than one occasions, just handed the Orlando Magic the basketball. Just handed them the basketball. A sloppy display of basketball is what we saw on numerous occasions in this Chicago Bulls Orlando Magic basketball game, and more so coming from the Chicago Bulls. Just downright disgusting in more ways than one. Going into the box score, of course, in the Orlando Magic first, as we talked about with Franz Wagner, 25 points in the game, 6 rebounds, 5 turnovers for him. We love to see that, just on the defensive side. But Wendell Carter Jr. showed out against his former team. Back in the day, I wanted to keep Wendell Carter Jr. I was a Wendell Carter Jr. and Lauri Markkanen fan. I wanted to keep both of them to see what was going to happen there. But 17.6 of 8 from the field. Him and Nikola Vucevic definitely went back and forth. But it was Goga who came through on the defensive side and just completely tried to do everything he could to shut down Nikola Vucevic. And he was just insanely active. 4 blocks in the game for Goga as well. So that's off the bench. So just got to give a whole lot of love for him as well. He actually left the game dealing with a hip injury after he banged into Nikola Vucevic. But Desmond Bane, of course, 37 points, really efficient in the game, 12 for 17 from the field, 10 of 10, didn't miss a single free throw. Gotta love that. Free throws win championships. Jalen Suggs struggled in this game, 3 of 13, from the field, 2 of 10 from a 3-point range. Just absolutely shut down. But, of course, that's why you had Anthony Black to come through into the fray. Off the bench, 22 points, 8 of 15 from the field with 9 rebounds. Just an absolute dog in the game. And this team is young. They're just like they're in the same situation, just doing much better. But in the same situation as the Chicago Bulls. They have some young talent. They have a young team that's great. And you know the work that they put in. Now, the only difference is they found their superstar. They found their go-to guy, and that's Paolo Banchero, who didn't play in the game. But you can say the same thing about the Chicago Bulls. Kobe White, even though Kobe White hasn't been necessarily seen as the go-to guy just yet, you are the veteran man. You are, of course, the leading scorer on the team. And, of course, you're the most aggressive. Yes, you are the go-to guy in Kobe White, but we haven't seen him. Who's next man up? Josh Giddey. And at least in the beginning of that fourth quarter, you saw Josh Giddey trying, to be that go-to guy, trying to be the one that's going to go out there and take initiative, for the Chicago Bulls. But then eventually Once you start seeing the layups and the shots start falling for Josh Giddey, once you started getting a little under 5 minutes in, things just got insanely stagnant for the Chicago Bulls. Not a whole lot going for them on the offensive side whatsoever. Then just looking at it right here, Buzelis, 21 points, 7 to 16. I'll tell you something. Jonathan Isaac made those boys work. You got to give a whole lot of love to Jonathan Isaac. Even after the great deal of injuries that he's gone through, he made those boys work. So I got to give a whole lot of love to Jonathan Isaac there. Nikola Vucevic, 20 points, 9 for 13 from the field. Ayo Dosunmu, solid game as well, 18 points, 6 of 13. Just 4 turnovers and 5 fouls in that game. Really, really rough, but definitely contributed on the offensive side. And, of course, Josh Giddey tried to do everything he could to keep the Chicago Bulls in this game. However, when you have 8 turnovers, not a whole lot you can, it's not a whole lot of winning there. When you're dealing with 8 turnovers, especially coming from your point guard. Ayo Dosunmu had 4, Nikola Vucevic had 2, Patrick Williams had 2, Javon Carter had 2. Trey Jones had 1 going up against his brother, but he had 20 points, 7 of 10 from the field. Just really looked good. He looked like a guy that was going to come through, and he was finding his shot. And also, coming off the pick and roll, that man was just Speedy Gonzalez out there. Just quick on his feet, really, really fast, insanely mobile. Love me some Trey Jones, of course, but just didn't contribute into winning basketball for the Chicago Bulls, which just really, really sucks in more ways than one. As we talked about before with the Chicago Bulls, there is no go-to guy, there is no superstar, so you can only rely pretty much on your continuity, on your team basketball. And coming down on the stretch, you're not seeing a whole lot of that from the Chicago Bulls. Of course, Nikola Vucevic, he can get hot when you need to be. We've seen clutch shots from him twice, just this season. However, he can't do it all. Josh Giddey himself, as we mentioned, those 8 turnovers just really, really hurt the most. And then, of course, on top of that, you're not playing defense. Let's come to this this quote from Vince Carter, because I thought he hit the nail right on the head. This is in the third quarter, as the third quarter was tailing on. He says, "There's no second gear in this team," talking about the Chicago Bulls. "It will be a long season for them if they can't figure it out." And that's 100% fact. I think he, like I said, hits the nail right on the head. There is no second gear. The Chicago Bulls will play you a really, really good first half. I mean, if the season was only the first and second quarters, no third and fourth, if it was just one half, hey, Chicago Bulls looking good. Chicago Bulls, we'll be feeling 10 times better, than how we were feeling in their 6-1 start. However, that's just not the case, and the Chicago Bulls have to lock in, not only on the offensive rebounding side, not only on the rebounding side in general, but you have to lock in. As soon as we get past halftime, whatever Billy Donovan is telling them, you got to switch it up, my brother. Something else has to be said to this team, because they're coming out flat-footed, especially in the fourth quarter. You're coming out flat-footed. There's not a lot of defense being played. They're swinging the ball left and right. Talking about the Orlando Magic. They're swinging the ball left and right, and the Chicago Bulls just can't keep up with them. And, of course, as soon as they get a pass, and you've seen it a couple times, Desmond Bane got the ball passed to him. He's looking Josh Giddey or Patrick Williams right in the eyes, and they're literally 3 or 4 feet away from him. That's an open basket. That's an open shot for him. Whether you get a hand on them late or not. And so their closeouts are late. You're just seeing really, really lackadaisical basketball. And this isn't the team that we saw early on. And maybe there was a point to the article we read just the other day that the Chicago Bulls had this success because other teams just weren't getting their footing, and they started off really, really slow, and the Chicago Bulls took advantage of that. But what do you guys think?